Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, of course. My name is OG the Beast, and my co-host over here, Chilltown 32. Unc, what's poppin'? How you running?
Nothing, man. Basketball season is in effect. Football season, man. We in the middle of it. This is awesome, yo.
It seemed like you
Absolutely.
got a TV right there. What game might you be watching right now?
I'm just glancing back and forth between Brooklyn and the Knicks, and Brooklyn kind of putting it to them right now. But I had mentioned this to you a little while ago, and I'll say it on live television. Brooklyn is fool's gold. I'm gonna say it one more time for the people in the cheap seats. Brooklyn is fool's gold. I'm
Uh-oh.
not buying it. In the words of my nephew over here, OG the Beast, if that take was on sale for 99 cents, I'm not buying it. They're fool's gold.
You do not believe in Brooklyn. That is
No,
definitely
I'm not.
obvious. Hey,
Absolutely.
I tell
I'm
you
not
one
failing
thing.
them, dude.
With you not believing in Brooklyn, hey, that's a good sign for my Bulls because that means look. We like 14-8 right now. I ain't gonna speak too much ill on my dogs, but we like 14-8 right now. Second seed in the East, excuse me. And we doing
Hmm.
pretty damn good, if I may say so myself. Shout out to my
Hmm.
Chicago Bulls. We balling out. But we got a solid little show for y'all today. Shout out to everybody that's stopping through today, live on Twitch. I appreciate every single one of y'all that be up in here, man, chatting and chopping it up with us. Shout out to everybody that's on YouTube, tuning in. We got some loyals over there as well. If you're not following us on YouTube or Twitch, vice versa, if you from YouTube, go ahead and drop us a follow, man. Show some support, show some love, man. We gonna shake some things up pretty soon. We got some new stuff coming out pretty soon. OG, I need to ask you a question. Shoot, go ahead before we get the show jumping off. You got a question? Go ahead, ask me. But what's today? What's today? We need to start yelling out these dates, man. So when we go back and watch these shows, we know what it is. December 30th, 2021. We about to break in the new year pretty soon. You got to explain
November the
that TikTok.
30th.
You got to explain that TikTok you made. Look, man, it's all jokes, man. What's the point of having a TikTok if you ain't gonna have fun? It was a TikTok. Shout out
Absolutely.
to Guru Griff, man. He did an NFL TikTok. Somebody, I guess, put NFL players as females. So and some of them didn't look bad as ladies. So I kind of made a little TikTok video making fun of it, and that's what whoever said that was talking about. How about those
I did.
Eagles?
The,
I don't want to talk
I,
about it.
I did the same thing with They had a TikTok between Magic and Curry, and one of the topics was most attractive. I'm thinking at 25 years old, if Magic Johnson called me on a Saturday night, I'm absolutely going out with that dude because of attractive dude. What do attractive dudes bring?
Women.
They bring chicks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No
So
doubt.
Magic is a good looking dude. And if I'm 25 years old, I'm hanging out with Magic, it's going to be a lot of chicks around.
Real
And
talk.
one thing that I
As
learned
they
about being
were.
absolutely, and one thing I learned about being around an attractive dude, when they bring a lot of chicks, one question that chicks always ask: "What's up with your man?"
Exactly. Hey, but
Because
hey,
he
hey.
can't have all of
But
them.
hey, you rolling with Magic though. Hey, I don't know if you know who AZ is. I know you from the East Coast. I don't know if you know who AZ is, but my man AZ, he said it best. You attract some of the baddest when you platinum status. That's why I stay with
Hey,
prophylactics after what happened to
hey,
Magic.
absolutely,
So
absolutely,
no
brother.
doubt about it. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
let's draw into this show though. Speaking of
Hmm.
you watching a basketball game, we just got some breaking news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know what the hell
Yeah,
is going on with the Lakers this year. They are
yeah,
struggling. If you don't know,
yeah,
now you know. And to add
yeah.
insult to injury, we got LeBron James contracted with potential coronavirus. So I don't know if he's been around somebody or he actually tested positive, but he has the vaccine. So two false negatives within 24 hours and he'll be okay. But assuming that this does not happen, it seems to be the normal protocol is 10 days off. So with the Lakers and their recent struggles, even though Russell Westbrook has been playing better as of late, turning the ball over less, being more efficient from the field. The other night he was like 10 for 18, which is surprising coming from a guy like Russell Westbrook to take 18 shots, and I think he had like 30 off those 18 shots. So shout out to Russell Westbrook. Hey, if I'm on dog him, I'm gonna also give credit what credit is due because I do got my gripe against Russell Westbrook. I do not like the way he plays the game, but He's been playing better as of late, but the Los Angeles Lakers are 500 right now. 7th seed in the Western Conference, and now you telling me LeBron James could potentially miss 10 days, which would equate to 4 games. And if you're looking at those 4 games, we got the Kings today, which he's going to miss. You got the Clippers. Who's to say that's not a given? All of these teams have better records with them with the exception of the Grizzlies. They got the Celtics and they got the Grizzlies. I mean, the Celtics have been struggling, but they still got a better record than the Lakers in the Eastern Conference. So, I mean, I don't know what to take from this. All I know is Russell Westbrook better step his game up and continue this trajectory that he's been on over the last 3 to 4 games. Anthony Davis needs to get healthy because he's day-to-day as of right now, dealing with whatever the hell he like to deal with every single season. He can never stay healthy. But I'm going to tell y'all just like this, Lakers fans, if you paying attention, Laker Nation, LeBron is getting old. Newsflash, if you haven't peeped, LeBron is in his 19th season. He can't be playing 50 minutes like he did last night, giving you 40 points, playing 50 minutes. He can't be doing that in his 19th season. He's hurting. This man is old. He's supposed to be taking the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar backseat, but instead, y'all got this man playing a lead role like y'all got year 8 LeBron. I don't understand it, but what the hell the Lakers going to do in 10 games without LeBron James? 10 days rather. 4 games.
Here's the problem. Everybody, even though the Lakers, since James been back in the lineup, I think they won 3 of their last 4 since James been back in the lineup. That has absolutely helped them. But all James has done is he's masked the problems that they've had. They got a rebound problem. They got a transition defense problem. They got a rotation problem. Right, they got a rotation problem. They got a turnover problem. They got a continuity problem. They got all different types of problems that James can only mask. It looks to me like the rotation problem is one of the biggest issues. I'm so happy that Vogel has decided to scrap the idea of having Rondo, Jordan, Howard, and Westbrook on the floor at the same time. I'm so glad he took that out the lineup. Oh, man, it took long enough, but I'm so glad that that's out the lineup because you're not going nowhere with that unit. Absolutely not. Now, turning the basketball over, that's also a problem because it puts the defense at a disadvantage, especially their transition defense because they're terrible in transition defense. And all James did was he just masked that. All he did was mask that because his ability to score and his ability to distribute and him coming back offensively, that helped him so much. But these problems are still there. And now that James is going to be out the lineup, they're going to get illuminated again. And we're going to see these problems come back and rear their ugly head again. And when that happens, we're going to get the same response that we've gotten before. The Lakers are over. Well, these problems haven't been addressed. And until they are addressed, James can't mask these things for that long. You're talking about a dude who, just like you said, is in year 19. When Jabbar was in year 19, James Worthy stepped up. Magic stepped up. Byron Scott stepped up. AC Green stepped up. That team was better. And and Jabbar was more of, he was in the twilight of his career, but he also was a player who I don't have to do nearly as much because these guys that I got, these are the ballers. Well, this team isn't that old. I mean, Russell Westbrook only 33. He's in the prime of his career. Yeah. Anthony Davis I don't think he's 30 yet, right? So James might be the oldest guy on the team, sure, and Carmelo Anthony is an old guy, but Monk isn't old. Nunn isn't old. Wellington, these guys aren't that old. Dwight Howard is an older guy, no question about it. But the younger guys who are still in their prime, they should be doing a better job, and they're not.
I 100% agree with you. I don't know what they expecting out of LeBron James at this juncture of his career. It's just crazy. I thought everybody assumed coming into this season that LeBron James would literally just be there, going through the motions, playing point guard, facilitating the ball, getting everybody involved. When it's Russell Westbrook's time, he can hang around, hang out on the three-point line, get timely buckets through the Florida offense. But it seems like now it's like, get the hell out of the way. I got to score all the points. I got to get all the rebounds. I got to dictate the pace in the Florida offense. LeBron James at this junction in his career should not have to do all of this. And if he's able to do all of this and somehow sustain a top 4 seed, give him the MVP because he deserves it at that point.
He said the same. We said, didn't we have this conversation 5 years ago in 2016 that he shouldn't still be shouldering the load, only except he was? But now it's more prevalent because he's been breaking down. See, back then he started to break down a little bit. He had a little bit of a back issue, then he had a
Yeah.
hamstring issue, and people were starting to ask the question, is James getting old? Well, it's obvious that he wasn't getting old. He still had it. And we were starting to have this conversation that, he needs more help. He needs more people to step up their game.
Fact.
And some of them did. Irv absolutely stepped his game up. Kevin Love stepped his game up. These guys did help him. But now here we are 5 years later. We still having this same conversation. And now it's becoming worse because he's older. And not only is he breaking down, he's breaking down more frequently now.
Yeah, I saw
And
him
it's going to be
I
it's
saw
a
him
bigger
grab his
problem.
side the last game, and I'm like, whoa there. Is that abdominal re-inflammating and coming back up? I said, oh, that don't look good. LeBron is getting older, man. He's breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same guy that we used to seeing. And the Lakers,
Mm-hmm.
you would think that all the talent that they got on the roster, they'd be able to weather the storm even without him. It should be no question, because that's the reason why he chose, in my opinion, Westbrook over a Buddy Hield, which he ain't having the greatest season right now. Buddy Hield I'm speaking of. So Westbrook is having a more productive season than Buddy Hield as of right now. But Buddy Hield was the obvious better pick for what they like to do. But in situations like this, where LeBron may have to miss games on and off, which I think will be consistent throughout the year, more so than it has been in his past, I think LeBron's going to miss quite a bit of games this year, whether he's in and out of the lineup due to rest, due to recovery, or due to serious injury like this abdominal situation. So they needed somebody that could take over, shoulder the load. So, it is what it is. But moving on to some football. How about those Steelers? Steelers fans, where y'all at? If it's some Steelers fans in the comments, shout out to the Steelers. Y'all are garbage.
Trash.
Gabricio, trash, dumpster material.
Trash.
Hey, boy, take out that garbage. Okay, Mom, that shit you dragging, that you leave behind, that is the Steelers. They are garbage.
Trash.
Bro,
Absolute
Ben
trash.
Roethlisberger looks 150 years old. The defense is completely depleted. The Steelers' last 4 games, Cincinnati walked them. Listen to this.
Oh, my God.
The Steelers' last 4 games, Cincinnati just beat the dog shit out of them. Walked them, right? Then they lost to the Chargers the week before that. Then they tied with the worst team in the league in the Detroit Lions. Then they beat a bad Chicago team by 2 points. One of those 4 games, Big Ben did not play. In the other 3 games that he did play, I'm not finna sit here and say he's the reason why they beat Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hasn't been anything close to impressive all season long. I don't even know why they held on to him this long. Like, we thought he was going to have a chip on his shoulder coming off of that injury, but I don't know what anybody sees in Big Ben. And then on top of that, Mason Rudolph is not the answer. They don't even have a backup. So if I'm Mike Tomlin, I'm shaking in my boots right now, because Big Ben is obviously over the hill. Mason Rudolph is not that guy. What the hell y'all gonna do at the most important position in football? Right. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 5-5 right now, and completely Gabricio. Well,
Trash.
Trash.
Absolutely. Well, this is my question to you. If Ben Roethlisberger in Game 2 of this season, because we're talking about a dude who, as of right now, he's averaging a little over 6 yards per throw. That's check downs, Beast. just so you know, that's check downs. Yes, that's what that is. That's check downs. So with that being said, right, he's averaging 6 yards a throw. If he would have said in Game 2 of the season, if he would have just came out and said, I am announcing my retirement effective immediately, how would you have felt about that?
I would have been like, great, you should have did it last year.
Well, I'm looking, because it brings me into, when I think about this, I think about Eli Manning. All right. So Eli Manning in 2012, when they won the bowl game, I thought he was a top 10 quarterback. By 2015, at that point, we're in year 10. All right. By 2015, he's fallen off. By 2017, I thought he was washed, Beast. I thought he was over, only except he stuck around for 3 more years. Mm-hmm. I look at Ben Roethlisberger, and I'm looking at a dude who I thought he was washed 2 years ago.
So
Not this year. I thought he was washed 2 years ago. Only except he stuck around 2 more years, and I can appreciate why he did it. He did it for legacy
Mm-hmm.
because he's trying to. I think he's in the top 10 in yards, touchdowns,
All of it.
passing. And I think that he's enhancing those stats because it's gonna look good for his Hall of Fame
What's
induction. All
crazy,
right, I can.
is he's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. If
Mhm.
he was to retire last year, he's a first
Right.
ballot Hall of Famer, no question, and a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. I got him right at
Yeah.
10.
Right. So with that being said, he just looks like he's a shell of himself. But the problem that the Steelers have had, they have not addressed the backup. They have not addressed the quarterback issue. So should we tank, and should we just? Obviously, they're trying to make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs, but should they just tank and at least try to get themselves a quarterback who over the next who could be a stop, because Mason Rudolph is not a stopgap. It's obvious that he's not a stopgap. So are we going to start over? What exactly are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to do?
I got no clue, but they need to come up with a strategy, an exit strategy for this man, Big Ben Roethlisberger, and they need to do it fast because the Rooneys, they are a very, very tight-knit, loyal family. Very, very tight-knit, very loyal. Just the Steelers are a very storied franchise built and packed with a whole lot of history. How many head
Coaches, I think. Three coaches in 60 years.
That was
Yeah,
my next.
three coaches.
How many
Something
head
like
coaches
that.
have the Steelers had in the last 40 years? Like,
Yeah,
just
three
think about it
coaches.
from that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my lifetime, it's been Cowher, Tomlin, and I can't remember who was before Cowher. It's not coming to me. But this just the point that they just so loyal, and they exhibit that loyalty to their players as well, especially lifers like Big Ben Roethlisberger. You know, like it was handing the torch over from one to the next, Tommy Maddox to Big Ben Roethlisberger. And it's like when you look at that, Big Ben has been there pretty much a starter since the start of his career. Tommy Maddox lost the job, if I'm not mistaken, week 1. And then Big Ben came in and won the rest of the game. So it's like they probably still look at that guy as that guy. So because Big Ben doesn't want to leave, they giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like, you've done so much for this franchise, for this organization. You're a 2-time champion. You've brought so much, so many wins to this, so many great moments that we just gonna give you. It's kind of like the Lakers did with Kobe. We know you over the hill, but we gonna pay you this $30 million a year just because you Kobe Bryant. We paying you this for what you did already, not for what you about to do.
Thank you, money, basically.
Right.
Thank you, money.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
I think
Thank
that's
you,
what
money.
it is more than anything when it came to
Thank
Big
you,
Ben
money.
Roethlisberger. But they need to think of an exit strategy quickly because they have no backup quarterback. They have no future quarterback. A Steelers fan just posted in the comments. I think he's a first-time commenter. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining the show. But he said the Steelers right now are projected to get the 16th pick in the draft. I know absolutely nothing about this up-and-coming draft. I have not done any research on any players. I don't know anything about what's going on in this draft. I can't even think of the quarterbacks coming out this year.
Right. Me neither.
And that's a problem.
Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, the Patriots did get Mac Jones at 15, so that's not a problem. But the problem that we having is that they haven't addressed the future. Right? They still haven't addressed. They haven't addressed Najee. They haven't addressed Juju. They haven't addressed because at some point these guys are going to go the other way. Same thing, and it has to start with Ben. Ben has been their starting quarterback since 2004. Since 2000, he's been there since 2004. We're talking 18 years. How much longer do you think this guy has in him? Is he gonna be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year? I doubt it very seriously.
I really hope doubt very.
I doubt very seriously that he's going to be their guy next season. I doubt that. So, with that being said, what is the plan? Are we going to trade up in the draft? Are we going to not only trade up in the draft? Are we drafting a quarterback? You don't necessarily have to get one high, but is that the direction that we're going? And so, I'm having a really difficult time with what's going on with this.
And that's that's the crazy thing, because the reason why I say it's not a good thing is because I can't remember the last time I was midway through an NFL season and I didn't know what quarterbacks was coming out the next year. This is the first time in a long time where I didn't know shit about the quarterbacks coming out of this draft. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers is banking their success on who's coming out of this draft, good luck with that one. But to segue to a quarterback that's actually legit and Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers have been rolling as of late. And I think, to be honest with you, they may be the best team in the league. They absolutely steamroll the Rams. Like, I don't know what to expect from the Rams. One week they look tremendous. The next week they look like poo-poo. I'm not saying the Rams look terrible, but OBJ got himself a touchdown. He found the end zone. Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. I think he's arguably the best wide receiver in the league right now. Matt Stafford has been a bit inconsistent over the past few weeks. But Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers, no short of an MVP candidate. He just might be the front runner if you're looking at it from the quarterback standpoint, as the quarterback, of course, getting the most out of the situation. Because even though a running back hasn't won it in a while, but that's usually because a quarterback is actually doing so well. But I can't really pinpoint one quarterback that's just been playing so outrageous that it should automatically go to this guy. So I'm not eliminating Jonathan Taylor from that discussion because he's 8 straight games with over 100 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown.
Right.
He's been nothing short of incredible. But they made light work of the Rams, and it's a funny story that came along with this. I'm sure y'all have heard it by now. During the waiver period for Odell Beckham, when he was on waivers, he had a choice between a couple of teams of where he wanted to go to. He chose to go to the Rams, obviously, when the Green Bay Packers was on the table. Now, do I think that was a smart move? Yes, I do, simply because I don't know the future of Aaron Rodgers. I don't know the future of Tay Adams. These guys was posting memes prior to the season, last dance memes, as if they about to get on up out of there. So I'll be damned if I join this team, both of y'all leave, and I'm stuck with Jordan Love as my quarterback. Now I'm in a bad position. So you go somewhere with some permanence, and they're a contender at the same time of the Rams. I don't blame Odell Beckham for his decision. But you cannot make a decision like that and then expect a guy like Tay Adams to give you his jersey at the end of the game, which is what Odell Beckham did the previous night before. Reached out to Davante Adams, asked him after the game, when they done playing each other, can they do a jersey swap? Davante Adams completely disengaged, treated this man's life, told him no. Go jersey swap with Cooper Kupp. That's who you wanted to team up with. Don't ask me for no jersey. You lost that opportunity to get a jersey when you chose Cooper Kupp over me. Do you agree with Davante Adams with this?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. I understand. I understand. He sound like he a little hurt behind it, but more than anything, yo, you better get on. You could have got on the gravy train because we're gonna be rolling. You could have got on the gravy train and you decided that you wanted to go the other way. Because at the end of the day, like I just said to you earlier, I know who James Harden is. I also know who Matt Stafford is too, and I'm not gonna at no point be disillusioned by who Matt Stafford is. So I'm looking at OBJ. I had a lot of people telling me that he's washed. OBJ might be finished. I think he washed. I just think that he hasn't been in the system or played with a quarterback as good as Eli Manning since he got traded. And with that being said, I'm looking at this Green Bay team. You know, they won 9 of their last 11, right? Won 9 of their last 11, 8th overall in defense. All right. Davante Adams is the dude, over 1,000 yards. And Randall Cobb is definitely their guy. Aaron Jones has been hurt. Here's my issue, Beast. I heard Aaron Rodgers say after they lost to the 49ers in the NFC Championship in January of 2020, we have to get these games in our building. Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, Aaron, because fast forward the clock to January of 2021, and you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in your building in the NFC Championship, and you get the GOAT, Tom Brady, to throw 3 interceptions, and what happens? They're walking off with the NFC Championship trophy. Instead, so now rewind the clock back to January of 2011, when you're in Chicago for the NFC Championship game. Aaron Rodgers, trash in that game. Fast forward to 2014 in the NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson throws 3 interceptions. You trash in that game also. Lose in overtime. So which one is it? Is it we got to get these games in our building, or we just got to win games? Which one is it? Because this right here, what I see on paper and when I watch these guys, I can appreciate 9 wins in the last 11 games. I can appreciate that. But at what point are we getting over the hump, Aaron? At what point are we getting there?
What is it, like 4 or 5 straight NFC championship games?
1-4 in the NFC championship game. That's where
Yeah,
he is.
yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I hope one day Aaron Rodgers can figure it out and say, "Hey, yo, we got to do something about this." Because I don't think Aaron Rodgers plays bad in these games typically. If Aaron Rodgers was in a position like Tom Brady was in, out of the 20 years he played with New England, 16 of the 20 years he had a top 10 defense. If you give Aaron Rodgers a top 10 defense 16 out of his 20 years, if he was to play that long with one organization, I got no doubt in my mind he'd have multiple championships just like Tom Brady. So, I mean, it's all situational. Football is the ultimate team sport, and I don't think Aaron
Right?
Rodgers plays bad to the point to where uh, he's the culprit. You know what I mean? Like, not on a regular basis, at least. Everybody has their bad games, but I don't think he plays terrible to the point to where people say, "Oh, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault while we can't make it past the NFC Championship game." So,
I'm watching these dudes in the NFC Championship game against Seattle. Russell Wilson is looking up to the sky like, we're going to lose this game, and I'm going to be the reason why. 3 interceptions. He was trashed that day. He was absolute. There's no reason why that Seattle team was supposed to beat Green Bay that day. And I can appreciate the Legion of Boom, that defense. No way that they should have won that game. Green Bay forced 4 turnovers that day. Same thing last season against Tampa in the NFC Championship. If you can get Tom Brady to throw 3
that's
interceptions, there's
facts.
no way you should lose to him.
That's
No
facts.
way you should lose to him because the defense is holding up their end of the bargain. Absolutely, they are.
I agree
And
with
you are
that.
the primary ball handler, and you are the primary ball handler as the quarterback. You have to get us in position to get us over the hump. I'm not letting Aaron Rodgers off the hook with that. No way.
Okay, when you come from that standpoint, I agree with that. But Aaron Rodgers has been in positions to where he played good enough to win games, and just things just don't happen like that. Like, imagine if he had a defense that can force some turnovers. Imagine if he had a defense that can get pick sixes, like the Buccaneers, like the Patriots. Imagine if he was in a position to where his defense can shut down the greatest quarterback I've ever seen with my 2 eyes, talent-wise. He's never had a defense that was built like that. The last time Aaron Rodgers had a top 10 defense, what happened? He won a Super Bowl. So, that's just what it is. And I think Aaron Rodgers hasn't gotten a completely fair shake. Great regular season success, all of that. We get all of that. But when the playoffs come, we need to see these boys step up. That's why the Green Bay Packers have been prioritizing the offensive side of the ball. And people are complaining about Aaron Rodgers having enough weapons. That's bullshit. I think Aaron Rodgers has enough weapons.
Plenty.
Alan Lazard is a 6'4" demon. Marcus Valdez-Scantling can take the top off your defense at any point in time. And on top of that, he's got his boy Randall Cobb back, who's been stellar as of late. Randall Cobb has been a complete dog. These Packers are 9-3 right now, and they don't have no excuse. And I feel like if they win out, Aaron Rodgers should walk away with the MVP again. Point blank, period, right? And not to mention Randall Cobb, they also got arguably the best wide receiver in the game with 2 dynamic running backs. Shout out to A.J. Dillon. He's been playing lights out since Aaron Jones has been banged up. So it's like, I like what they got in this young cat. I don't even know why they re-signed. I mean, this is the age of the dual running backs now. They're starting to bring that back like they had it in the mid-2000s. So, there's no more workhorse backs.
Beast, I'm holding you absolutely to what you just said. If you got Carson Wentz, you got Tom Brady, you got Peyton Manning, if he's got arguably the best wide receiver in the game and a top 3 running back in the game, what do you expect from him and his offense?
I'm expecting him to roll.
Then I should get the same thing out of Aaron Rodgers.
Facts.
I shouldn't expect him to play just good enough. That's not good enough, man.
Yeah.
That's not.
I agree.
Absolutely not.
I definitely agree. I want to see him more so in the playoffs because obviously he's coming off an MVP season. We saw the success. Aaron Rodgers was averaging like 4 touchdowns a game last season. So, I mean, he gave you nothing short of Hall of Fame material. But I want to see it in the playoffs because I believe, again, they lost in the NFC Championship game last year. So, I want to see it in the playoffs. But let's segue to some basketball. We kind of moving through this show. I like the flow of this show right now. We kind of moving and flowing through this show. I'm going to look at some of these. A lot of y'all been talking. Kind of want to get to what a little bit of y'all talking about. Y'all having a decent conversation in these comments. I say MJ is better than LeBron. Patriots defense is just extremely well organized. Yeah, they a bend but don't break defense. Amazing coaching.
Yep.
OG the
Yep.
Beast, you wrong for saying Scotty. He all right. What about Scooty? I don't know what you're trying to say.
I think you're talking about Scotty.
Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz is
Mm-hmm.
actually playing good. No doubt about it. We're gonna get to him in a second. Talk about Ball. You say you want to talk about Ball? I think that's next up. Tom Thibodeau says Kimball Walker is going to sit his ass on the bench for the rest of the season. Now, you watching the game. You watching the Knicks, right? I don't know if have you seen Kimba get any PT today? Because he ain't got no PT. Well, let me tell you something. Kimball Walker is a he was a healthy scratch. Damn, I thought he was gonna get some at least get a little bit of player time.
Yeah, he on the bench. He in his uniform.
Think about that. We talking about a guy that was 24 a night just 2 seasons ago, playing for a bad Charlotte Hornets team, but he was an all-star. And it's like 2 years later, point blank period. I'm from Chicago. I know who the hell Tom Thibodeau is. Tom Thibodeau is a defensive-minded coach. And if you ain't going to play no damn defense, he don't give a hell how talented you are offensively. Get your ass out this game. Alec Burks has been playing defense. He's been rebounding the basketball. He's been facilitating. He's been scoring when he gets those minimum minutes and those opportunities to do so. So Kimball Walker is out for the foreseeable future. It's crazy to say, but damn. What you think about that, huh?
Let me ask you this question. You said that you know Tom Thibodeau, right?
Yeah.
And who was the defensive coordinator for the Boston Celtics when they won the NBA
Thibodeau.
championship? So if you're gonna play for Tom Thibodeau, offensively you can do you. But if you ain't gonna drop your ass, if you're not gonna move your feet and get your hands busy, you will not be on the floor. It's that simple.
No doubt.
So I'm looking at the guard rotation that the New York Knicks have, right? So he ain't playing in front of Derrick Rose.
No.
All right. He's not gonna play in front of Fournier. He's not gonna play in front of RJ Barrett. So that leaves Alec Burke and that leaves Quigley. So combined, those two guys average almost 20 a game, and they shooting almost 40% on the long ball. Add that to the fact that they're better defenders and they're better energy guys. Kemba's got an arthritic knee. If anybody knows anything about arthritis is not something that can be cured. Only it's something that can be turned down.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not something that goes away. It's something that can be minimized. He's not playing in back-to-back games. That's how bad it is. So we talking about a dude who's in year 11, who it might be realistic to say, or not even realistic. I'm gonna pose the question to you, Beast. Can we see Kimba get cut?
It's possible.
Because we could very well. I think we could see him get cut. I personally think he's washed. I do, because I see a guy who came from Boston, from Charlotte to Boston, where he averaged 20 a game his first season in Boston, and averaged 20 a game in the playoffs. He went from that to 19 a game the next year with Boston, and 13 in the playoffs. This year with the New York Knicks, he's barely averaging 11 a game. Barely averaging 11 a game, and he doesn't defend at all.
That was my next statement. That's the crazy. That's why you saying he might get. That's not blasphemy. You are a non-defensive guy you're an offensive guy averaging 11 points that doesn't play defense. If you get cut, who's gonna pick you up?
That's my next question, because when I look at Kimba and I look at what he does offensively, he just looks like he's a shell of himself. His mid-range game used to be super sharp.
Yeah.
Right? His ability to get to the basket. He's from New York, so you know he's nice with the pill.
Yeah.
With that being said, he just looks like a shell of himself, and he doesn't look like, not only that he doesn't fit with this New York team, his game, it just looks like it's falling off.
I'm trying to think. Maybe New York. Do you think New York puts too much pressure on him? Like, do you think maybe he needs to go somewhere to where he can loosely play, somebody that really don't need him, somewhere where he can play 20 to 25 minutes coming off somebody's bench, maybe, which is the role he was in New York. But
he could have done that in Oklahoma City when he got traded from Boston. Instead, they ate the deal.
Yeah.
And he could have got traded. He could have done that in Oklahoma City. He could have went to Oklahoma City and basically lived out the rest of that contract and done whatever. Only except Oklahoma City ate the deal, and he came to New York on a very team-friendly contract where they're not on the hook up until January is, I think it's either March. I'm sorry, March is when they're on the hook for the rest of the season for the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So they got till March to decide what they're going to do with Kimball Walker. Now he's obviously played himself out of the rotation, but I just don't see him in their rotation and in their plans for the foreseeable future. I don't see it.
You say he can get cut, right? You say
Yes,
you can
sir.
see Kimball Walker getting cut, especially if he's going to take too many DNPs, right? Some healthy scratches. Garo, shout out to Garo in the comments. He said before he said Kimba to Philadelphia, he said Kimba to the Nets. I mean, you say he's washed. I think Kimba can be productive for somebody if they need instant offense off the bench and kind of like a Lou Will type of role.
That's what he's doing in New York, Beast. That's what he's doing with the Knicks, and he's giving them nothing.
Yeah, but he was
12 points.
starting with the Knicks though. I'm saying, why can't he play like a Lou Will type of role? Play like a Jordan Clarkson type of role, where he's coming straight in and
he's
just
buckets.
giving you buckets.
Well, the problem that we have with that
in
is
New York because D Rose is there.
okay. But here's the problem that we have, and the problem that we having with that is his body is failing him. So it's not necessarily just his game. So if it was just his game, maybe a change of scenery would help. But his body is failing him. He can't play in back-to-backs. He can't play over a certain amount of minutes.
And he's not good enough to be holding on to when you can't play back-to-back. I get that. I'm with you on that one. Then Kimba might be done. If he gets cut, it might not be no looking back unless this offseason he hit the weight room, get his body right, and he put out some mixtapes of him shooting around and showing mofos what he got. That's the only way I could see him getting back on the court again if he gets cut. Because Thibodeau on this roster, on this squad, you cannot not play defense. And they say never use a double negative. But in this situation, I'm using it. You cannot not play defense on a Tom Thibodeau-led team. That's all they do. The Knicks will be top 5 in defensive efficiency this year. No doubt about it. And Kimball Walker will not be a part of it if he's not going to play no defense.
Tom Thibodeau, he will look down that bench, and I don't care what else anybody is doing. He's going to find some people to lock ass. He is going to find somebody to play defense. That's who Tom Thibodeau is. No question about that.
They got a lot of scrappy guys on that team, and you know, I kind of like what the Knicks is doing. We'll see how things go. But somebody in the chat mentioned earlier that Carson Wentz is balling out. Shout out to the former Philadelphia Eagle. Carson Wentz has definitely been balling out, even though the Colts took a brutal loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a game that they should have won. It was up like 20-something points at one point in time in this game, and it looked all but over. But Thomas Edward Brady is Thomas Edward Brady. Leonard Fournette had himself a day. He decided to go for 4 touchdowns in this game. But let's talk about Carson Wentz for a second, because even though the Colts are 6-6, I still think they may be the sneakiest team in the AFC. Like, I think if they sneak into this playoffs, they could mess some shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could upset a few teams, and potentially you look up and it's like, damn, you know, because they got all they need. They got a solid defense, top 3 offensive line in the league. Carson Wentz has been playing great. At this point last season for my Eagles, Carson Wentz was 2,200 yards. I mean, 7 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Like, he was horrendous last year at this point. And now, a year later, revitalized, new system he's familiar with, but new team, new jersey number, new Carson. He's almost at 3,000 yards for the season, 21 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, most importantly. He's not turning the ball over. He looks good. He's throwing the ball well. And he looks good while throwing the ball well. So I just want to say shout out to Carson Wentz and shout out to Indianapolis Colts. They could be playing better as of late. Lost a couple of tough games. Like I say, they 6-6 and they sneaky as hell. What you think about Carson Wentz play as of late?
Well, I put him in the same category as right now with Jimmy G. Last season, well, what do you mean, Unc, with Jimmy G? Last season, Carson Wentz was pressing. I'm looking over my shoulder. The new guy is here. And not only is the new guy here, he's the future of the organization.
No doubt.
So now Carson Wentz is looking like a guy He looks like he's pressed. He doesn't look like the normal Carson Wentz who's just out there balling and just being instinctual and throwing the football. We're talking about a dude who had 15 interceptions last year. The 3 previous years before that, he only had 7. This year, he's got 5. And the reason why is because it's a change of scenery. Not to mention, he is on a better team. I think Pittman is better. Pittman Jr. is better than any wide receiver he had last year in
It's not
Philadelphia.
even close.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think when I look at Jack Doyle and I look at Ali Cox, I don't think they're better than Ertz, but I think they solid. Right? I think those guys are solid, and it doesn't hurt that he's got an All-Pro running back in Jonathan Taylor. But the biggest difference with him is number one, health, and number two, him having a change of scenery. And now he doesn't have to look over his shoulder. I think the same thing is happening with Jimmy G. Jimmy G is a guy who looks like he's pressing. And that's because Trey Lance is right behind him.
Facts.
And he knows that this guy is the future of the organization. We're talking about routine throws that he would normally make. Now he's overshooting guys. That's what Carson Wentz looked like last year. He just looked like a guy who was completely different than what he looks like now. He looks calmer. He looks calmer in the pocket. He looks more fluent. And they just look better. He looks better. And I wouldn't be surprised if, and by the way, they only 2 games. Was it 2? Yeah, 2 games out of first place in the AFC the AFC South. They're only 2 games out of first place. So I think that this Indianapolis team, they're gonna be somebody to deal with, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I got no doubt in my mind about it. I just feel like they got everything they need to succeed. It's kind of like the Cleveland Browns, but with a better quarterback. You know what I mean? Like Cleveland, I feel like got everything they need to succeed. They just need better quarterback play, and they need they coaches to actually trust that the quarterback can execute the game plan that they drawn up. And I just don't feel like they have any trust in Baker Mayfield. But Frank Reich has all the trust in the world in Carson Wentz to make every throw at all time. And I love it. I love to see these 2 guys back together. I wouldn't be surprised if Carson Wentz finishes the season with over 4,000 yards passing and 30 touchdowns, like within a run-first offense. That's great statistically in a run-first offense. So shout out to Carson Wentz. I just want to give some credit where credit is due with them boys. They've been balling. Jonathan Taylor has been outstanding. That offensive line is playing amazing. And Pittman is having a breakout season, as a lot of y'all are shouting out in the comments. There's no doubt about that. T.Y. Hilton just needs to go ahead and hang it up because he ain't providing no type of production for them cats. But I like what I'm seeing from Indianapolis as of late. But
absolutely,
before the season started, me and you made some predictions. We made some NFL award predictions. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, Most Improved Player, is what they call Comeback Player of the Year in the NFL. We made these predictions in anticipation of what we thought would happen, of course, like most podcasts and shows do, right? I feel like it's week 12. We got about 7 more weeks left. A little over halfway through. I think right now would be a great time to look at what we thought was going to happen and kind of see where we at as of right now. I think it's a good time because pretty much you can pretty much tell what things are going to go as of right now. So let's look at what we got. I got all of it listed. I got who you had, and I got who I had, and of course we both know what's going, or at least we could try to predict what's going to happen in real life. Do you remember who you had for MVP, Unc?
I think I had Tom Brady.
Yeah, you had
to win the league. I had Brady to win the league
That's
MVP.
Still possible.
It is. It's still legit. And I had Kyler Murray as my dark horse league MVP.
Yeah, Kyler is your dark horse, and you had Tom Brady to win the league.
I had
MVP.
Tom Brady.
You remember who you had for DPOY?
Who did I have for Defensive Player of the Year? If I remember correctly, I don't have that here.
I got
Who did
it
I have
all.
for defensive? Who did I have for Defensive Player of the Year?
Actually, you know what I did to get it? I went back and I watched the episode. It was episode 2.
Okay.
It was the second episode we ever did. You had T.J. Watt.
I had T.J. Watt, and he got hurt. He got hurt in Pittsburgh.
So
yeah, he got hurt in Pittsburgh. So that's not going to work.
Happen. So you and right now, Defensive Player of the Year is looking like Myles Garrett-ish. It's looking like
I had Diggs from with the Cowboys. I had Diggs with the Cowboys. I thought that he's the best defensive player in the game, no doubt.
Yeah, Diggs, Myles Garrett. I mean, it can go a couple of different ways right now. Chat, who you think gonna win the Defensive Player of the Year? Give me y'all predictions right now as we naming them out. MVP, he had Tom Brady. That can still possibly happen. Defensive Player of the Year, he had T.J. Watt. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Trevon Diggs is a big candidate. Myles Garrett is a big candidate. Aaron Donald is a candidate as always. Micah Parsons has an opportunity to get it as well. Offensive Rookie of the Year, you remember who you had?
I do. I had my man in Atlanta, Shannon Sharp, the second coming of Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, you had
Absolutely.
Kyle Pitts. That doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No, it does not. It doesn't look like it's going to happen at all.
Doesn't look like it.
And a lot of that was because I had Matt Ryan as a top 10 quarterback going into the season, and it just hasn't worked out that way. It hasn't worked out that way at all. No, it has not.
At all. So let's keep it rolling. Defensive Rookie of the Year. You remember who you had?
Who did I have? Oh, yeah, I had who did I have as defensive
You had Jamin Davis for defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a linebacker. Plays for who does he play for? Davis plays for the Washington football team. That's who you had. This is from the episode. You had three options. You had you picked three guys, but at the end of the day, you said, I'm gonna go with this guy because I feel like, he's gonna have. Bottom line, he's been Gabricio. Looking like he's
absolutely trash.
Like he's a bust. He's been Gabricio.
Trash. I know I had Micah Parsons in there too.
Yeah.
But
you had Patrick Surtain.
I had him and Patrick Surtain has been balling. Yeah. He was actually the one that I was gonna pick, but I wasn't really. I was on the fence about him, but I was wrong about that one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, we got Comeback Player of the Year. You remember who you had?
Comeback Player of the Year. No, I don't. Who did I have?
You had Jameis Winston.
Oh, that's right. I did. Yeah. I had Jameis Winston. I thought he was going to be a top 5. I thought he was going to be top 5 in the league in yards. He got hurt, and it just didn't work out that way. So
that's unfortunate. See, it's like barring injury when you pick a guy and he goes down. It's like, damn, I'm not wrong, but I'm not right. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It is what it is. But Coach of the Year, you remember who you picked?
Who did I pick for Coach of the Year? I don't remember who I picked for Coach of the Year.
You had Kevin Stefanski.
From Cleveland, because I thought Cleveland was going to be really good.
So did I.
I did. I thought they were going to be good,
yo. We thought they were. So
trash.
So to reiterate, MVP was Brady, which still has an opportunity. Defensive Player of the Year, you had T.J. Watt. That's not happening. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Kyle Pitts. That's not happening. The Defensive Rookie of the Year, you had Davis. That's not happening. Comeback Player of the Year, you had Winston. That's not happening. Coach of the Year, you had Stefanski. That's for damn sure ain't happening.
All of them wrong. Yeah, all of them.
All of them
Not
except
some
Brady.
Of them. All of them wrong.
Except Brady. Except Brady.
And we still don't have the MVP. We still don't have the MVP. So that might be wrong too. So
we don't know. Brady can be right. Let's see where
that might be wrong too. So
let's see what I got. MVP, I had Lamar Jackson. I don't think it's going to happen. It can, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the MVP race is pretty much narrowed down to like 2 or 3 guys right now. Lamar Jackson isn't in it. Unless the man just starts balling out, I simply thought Lamar Jackson having more of a load to carry because of the injuries to his running backs, I thought that he would rush for 1,000, which he will. But I thought that even more so he'd pass for 3,800 yards, which is still possible. But I didn't think that these guys would lose that many games, which they haven't. They like 8-3, ain't they? So
yes, they're in first place.
But Lamar Jackson probably ruined it by throwing 4 interceptions last week. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see what happens. But Defensive Player of the Year, I agree with you. I had T.J. Watt with you. He's injured. Obviously, that's not happening. Like I say, if I had to choose one right now, we talked about it. Trevon Diggs and Myles Garrett right now. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I had Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you did. I remember that. Mm-hmm. We had a big conversation about everybody saying that Jamar Chase was going to be a bust.
Yes.
And he wasn't going to be that guy, and was like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on now. Remember who we did. Remember who we dealing with now."
You know what's crazy? I watched that clip, and I'm like, you know what? I'm about to record this clip. Real talk. I'm recording this clip and I'm going to post it on TikTok because I said,
Mm-hmm.
all y'all talking crazy about my wide receiver. Shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase. And I simply just said, this man is about to have 15 touchdowns this year, and y'all don't even know it. He's on pace for that. So we'll see what happens, man. But I was spot on with that because I think he's going to run away with it.
Yep.
Let's see. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I had Patrick Surtain. Still possible. He's balling. Comeback Player of the Year, I had Carson Wentz, which is between.
It's not ridiculous.
It's not.
That's not ridiculous. That's not
Between
ridiculous.
him and Dak Prescott. What I actually said in the video as I was watching it, I said the easy consensus pick should be Dak Prescott, but my dark horse for Comeback Player of the Year is Carson Wentz. That was who
That's what I had.
Yeah.
I think I had Dak. As comeback player of the year.
No, you had Jameis. You had Jameis Winston.
Oh, I had Jameis. I'm sorry. I had Jameis Winston.
You had Jameis Winston as comeback player of the year. Your dark horse was, I believe you had a dark horse for comeback.
I don't remember.
You had a dark horse, and I remember you saying it after I was done. You said my dark horse for comeback player of the year. I forgot. But
I know that I had Dak in that conversation. I do know. I do remember that. I don't remember exactly who I had though, but I do remember having Dak in that conversation.
Coach of the year, I had Bruce Arians, which is still possible. I had him off the strength that I thought Buccaneers was going to run the table. You know, I just thought it wasn't nothing nobody was going to be able to do about the Bucs this year. I thought they was going to go 17-0, and Stefanski was going to just win it off the strength. It ain't even got nothing to do with him being a great coach or, exhibiting how great of a coach he was or anything like that. I just thought they was going to run the table. But, they chalked up a few L's, so it's still possible for Bruce Arians. So if we looking at mine, Lamar still in, but probably not. TJ Watt, nah. Jamar Chase, yes. Surtain, possibility. Carson Wentz, possibility. Bruce Arians, possibility. So I did pretty good. I only got probably one right or one wrong. I did okay. 2 wrong at the max. I did okay. All right, let's get into these top 5 performers, Unc. Who you got as your top 5 performers of the week?
My top 5 performers of the week. I had some good ones this week, my man. I'm going to start with my man Jalen Waddle. 9 receptions, 137 yards in the win.
I thought about him.
Got to give Miami some love, absolutely. At number 4, I got to go with the speedster and Deshaun Jackson. 4 receptions, 102 yards, and a TD. Deshaun looked like Deshaun from Philly.
Welcome
back. I was like, yo, my man looked like he that dude again.
Facts.
Absolutely. Number 3, I got Cincy secondary. I'm digging Mike Hilton and Eli Apple. Pick 6, and Eli Apple took one back for 50 yards. Absolutely. They looked really good.
No doubt.
And number 2, I got my man Elijah Mitchell. 27 rushes, 133 yards, ran all over them boys in Minnesota. Absolutely destroyed them dudes.
How did I know you was going to pick him?
Yeah, I absolutely. And at the top of the list, I got to go with Leonard Fournette. 17 rushes, 100 yards, 131 all-purpose yards, 4 touchdowns. He was awesome on Sunday.
Still don't have to be explained. No doubt about that.
Yes, he was.
Facts. At 5, I got the Miami defense, man. They just balled out. They held them to 10 points, returned a kick, a block kick, 3 interceptions. Like, they was just all over the place. At 4, I had your man, Elijah Mitchell, 133 all-purpose touchdown. He had himself a game. He was just running all over the place. He wasn't guarded, especially for a guy that was questionable coming into this game. So he's a little bit banged up, and he still showed up and showed out. Shout out to Elijah Mitchell. At 3, I want to give some love to my new team, the Chicago Bears. Shout out to the Chicago Bears. Daniel Marshall, a guy I've been hollering about since his rookie campaign. I think has the potential to be one of the better route runners in his league. He had himself a Thanksgiving. 5 for 123. It just seemed like he was all over the field. And I want to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to Daniel Mooney. I said Daniel Marshall. Did I say Daniel Marshall? I'm sorry. Yeah. Daniel Mooney. I'm sorry.
My man think about my dude in the league. Nah, not that dude.
Not Daniel Marshall. Daniel Mooney.
No, what do you think about that dude?
My bad. 2, I got Cordell Patterson, a guy who resurrected his career this year. Known gadget guy who came out and now is the catalyst for I don't want to say success that Atlanta's having because they're not having any, but any success that they having offensively because he's running it, he's catching it, he's blocking, he's kick returning, he's punt returning. You can make a legitimate case for him to be the greatest kick returner of all time. And if he does make it into the Hall of Fame, it should be based off that solely. What did he have? He had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. He had himself a day. Shout out to Cordell Patterson. I'm going to give some love to my man, the kick returner. Arguably the greatest returner of all time. And number one, what's understood don't have to be explained. Leonard Fournette. Shout out to my Leonard Fournette. Y'all know I love my LSU running bikes. Y'all know that.
Absolutely.
Give me them underperformers, Uncle. Who stunk up the joint?
Oh, my God. Let's start with the New Orleans Saints. 190 total yards, 44 yards rushing for the game. Dudes was trash. Get him out of here. Trash. How about my man Ryan Tannehill? 11 for 21, 93 yards. That's it? 93 yards. That's all I'm getting out of you? No. Absolutely terrible.
Garbage. Shout out to the
trash. Can't believe I got this dude on my list, but I absolutely have him on there. Lamar Jackson was awful on Sunday. Terrible. 20 for 32, 4 interceptions. You guys escaped with the win because Cleveland was worse. That's the only reason why you escaped with the win, but you were straight trash. No question about that. When I think about my man Mike Williams in with the Chargers, 8 targets, 4 receptions, 37 yards. Come on, Mike, where you been, my man? You was that dude. Where you been at, yo? Come on, man, you killing us. And at the top of the list, it ain't even a question. Cam Newton, 5 for 21, 2 interceptions, got benched in the fourth quarter. He was trash.
I forgot about Cam Newton. I hate honorable mentions, but he might have to be my honorable mention.
Get him off the field.
He was Gabricio. At 5, I got Baker Mayfield. Even though he had a solid game, I feel like if a guy throws 4 interceptions and you lose, it's your fault. I'm sorry. If you turn the ball over 4 times and the quarterback can't put no more than 10 points on the board, it's your fault. I'm sorry about that. So Baker Mayfield at 5. Lamar Jackson at 4, the guy that threw 4 interceptions. The only reason why I got him ahead of Baker Mayfield is because he actually won the game. But nonetheless, you're still Gabricio. Lamar Jackson, you were trash. I think you just ruined your possibility or chance, any chance you had of winning this MVP award, regardless of what your record indicates.
Absolutely trash.
At 3, I got Kyle Pitts. Where the hell are you at? I don't know if it's schematically. I don't know if it's Matt Ryan not looking his way, but damn it, you would think with Calvin Ridley out of the lineup that this man would get more targets. Well, he is getting more targets, but the problem is he's not hauling them in. Man's got 7 targets, 8 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets. His last 4 games. But he's just coming up with 2 catches, 3 catches, 3 catches, 2 catches.
Good enough, yo.
Man has 1 touchdown on the season. It's not good enough.
No.
He's 6'7", wingspan of Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, catch the football, yo.
Catch the football.
Yeah, y'all.
At number 2, I got the Steelers defense. They gave up back-to-back 40 burgers. They have been absolutely Gabricio. What the hell is going on?
Can I get a 40 burger, please?
With cheese. Extra cheese. The Aki way. What's going on? The Steelers defense has been ass. Play action. Trash. No one is open. What is going on?
Trash. Get them off the field.
And number 1, the entire Philadelphia Eagles offense.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I said it. The entire Philadelphia Eagles offense.
I knew I was going to get that.
Oh, my boys ain't safe. Jalen Hurts had his worst game of the season. Miles Sanders is injured, but he's still trying to run the football. The same ankle he went on IR for. He can't stay upright, but he's steadily trying to get into the game. He ain't doing nothing but hurting the squad. Just let Boston Scott take the reins. What's the problem? Jalen Reagor is a bust. He can't catch a cold.
I saw him in the end zone because my man Joyner went in on him. All right, my man Joyner went in on him. So I went back and watched the clip. Jalen throws him the football in the end zone. The dude got his eyes closed trying to catch the football. What's the fuck? I went back and watched the clip. I'm thinking to myself, there is the reason why it's called hand-eye coordination. See the ball, catch the ball. You can't catch the ball with your eyes closed. No, you cannot do
That's what they
that.
teach you in Pop Warner. See the ball, catch the ball, hand and eye coordination. Jalen Rager. This is the guy we took over Justin Jefferson. This is the man right here. This is the guy. You see what Justin Jefferson doing over there in Minnesota? This is who we took over Justin Jefferson. Over DK Metcalf. Yeah, him. That's the guy we took. Arcega Whiteside, bust. Garbage. That's the guy we took over DK. I'm sorry. We took Arcega Whiteside over DK. And we took Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson. Both of these guys. Gabricio. Dallas Goedert, 0 catches. Garbage. What's going on? What are you doing? Where are we going? Devontae Smith was open at least for 2 or 3 different occasions during this game. Jalen did not hit Devontae Smith. I don't know. We should be targeting Devontae Smith 15 times a game with these wide receivers that we got. I don't understand what's going on. But the Eagles were trash. I wanted to refrain from talking about my boys because I didn't want to get my blood pressure high. But
it looks like that's what's going on right now. Hold on, I gotta get my man calmed down.
Like, bro, I'm about to come up out this hoodie in a minute.
Yeah, he looked like he about to come through the screen in the second.
Damn,
hold on, I gotta get my man calmed down.
I tried to refrain from it, but we just got Bricio. It's ridiculous because the Cowboys dropped 2 in a row. So now we own their ass. We get this game. We 1 game behind the Cowboy.
In first place in the NFC East.
We 1 game behind them. So it's like we needed this game, and our schedule is favorable moving forward. We still get to play Washington twice. We got to play the Cowboys to close the season out. That could decide the division. But we got to win these easy games, man. That's going to wrap up the show. That's going to wrap up the show, man. We're going to do some questions from the fans. Reel them in. Hold on for a second.
Because we've been doing this the whole show, and I ain't saying nothing. Shot Juju, he's called me out. You got Dr. J as a top 3 player all time? And you asking me if I've been around? Was I around? I was around when Doc was playing. I absolutely was around when Doc was playing. And Doc was a dynamic figure. Doc wasn't nearly as skilled as Jordan. He wasn't nearly as skilled as James. He wasn't nearly as skilled as Magic. I can go all day long about Dr. J. Don't talk to me about Dr. J being a top 3 player. Was he transcended? Absolutely. Nobody had seen anything like Dr. J. And Dr. J would be awesome today. James would have ate Doc lunch. I'm saying it to you to your face. And I love Dr. J. James would have ate Doc lunch.
Let him have it. Let him have it.
You must be out your damn mind.
You must be out your mind, man. Dr. J. Yeah. Now you gonna see. Now you got that face. Now you got that face. You don't know who you talking to, coach. Now you got that face. Yeah, boy.
I think Dr. J is a top 20 player. I got him at 16 all time. Absolutely, I do. But he wasn't nearly as good as James. No, he was not. He was not as good as Magic. He wasn't as good. This dude won league MVP in 1981. He averaged 22 a game. All right, so don't talk to me about Doc. Give me a break.
This man said only 2 players go ahead of Dr. J, and that's Bron and Jordan. You are tripping very, very hard. You realize he did play in an era with a guy that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. How many MVPs Dr. J got?
1. That's it. Uno. In fact, not only does he only have 1 MVP, I've said this to you in the past, Beast. There are guys who have had situations where they got caught in the era. Malone and Stockton. Gary Payton, Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley. They got caught in the Jordan era. Mm-hmm. Tim Duncan almost got caught in the Kobe and Shaq era.
Almost.
KD. These guys, there's plenty of guys who got caught in the James era. DeMar DeRozan. And Dr. J got caught in the Magic and Bird era. Let's make sure that we remember Dr. J was in the NBA Finals 3 times in 4 years and only won 1 time. Yep. And that was because he got Moses. Up until that point, they couldn't get over the hump. He could not get over the hump. And that doesn't mean that Doc wasn't that dude, because Doc was awesome. But he wasn't Bird. How good
would Doc have been, though, if he didn't play in the ABA and all those prime years that he wasted over there was played in the NBA? How do you?
We're talking about him like, yeah, I do think it would have changed. Absolutely. If he would have came into because we got Doc on the other side of his prime. Right. Doc came into the NBA at 26. Doc didn't come into the NBA at 22 or 21. He was 26. So that's 5 years in the ABA that That's 5 years in the ABA where, excuse me, he could have been in the NBA going up against. He played against Havlicek. Havlicek was over by the time Doc showed up to the NBA, right? So guys like that, you can't really say what he would have done against them had he played earlier. He was the most revered guy. He was the most. When you talk about LeBron James coming into the NBA, that was the hype about Doc in the 70s. That's how big a deal he was.
No doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
So you said he said okay, so you could sleep on Dr. J, but Scottie not better than Durant. Are you implying that Scottie Pippen is better than Kevin Durant?
I didn't say that. I never said that. I never said that. In fact, my top 5 small forwards of all time are in order: James, Bird, Kevin Durant, Doc, Scottie Pippen. That's my top 5 small forwards of all time, in that order. So I do know how good Scottie Pippen was. I was around, and my man right here, he from Chicago, so he talk about Scottie all the time.
Yeah,
so he know about Scottie Pippen. Don't come on here unless you come in with facts, my man. You can't just say, "Yo, this dude don't know about Scottie Pippen." We know who Scottie Pippen is. Do you know who Scottie Pippen is? Is the $1 million question.
That's the real question. Besides scoring, what does KD do better? When you analyze a player and you base it off of what does this player do better than that player, that's a flawed argument to try to place your argument on. Because what if I said, right? Here's why that argument is flawed when you're trying to compare players. Let's use Ben Simmons and Stephen Curry. What does Stephen Curry do better than Ben Simmons besides shoot? Is he a better defender? No. Is he a better rebounder? No. Is he a better passer? No. Is he quicker, faster, bigger, stronger? No. That is why using an argument like that is completely flawed. You should not use that argument.
Because you got to take into context. You got to take into impact. You have to take all of those things into account. I can't just go, because I think that I can't just say Kawhi Leonard is a better player than Kevin Durant because he's a better all-around player. He's better on the defensive end of the basketball. Does that mean he's a better player? You can make the argument that Kawhi Leonard is a better player, but is he actually a better player?
No.
That's tough.
No. And Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard is a way better defender than Kevin Durant, but it should be consensus that Kevin Durant is a better player. Because what Kevin Durant does well is the most important aspect of basketball. You can't deny that. And he does it arguably the greatest to ever do it at that. So, that's what you can't argue. So when you try to say, oh, what does this player do better than this player, that's a bad judgment of character when it comes to breaking down a specific player, whether it be NFL or NBA.
Right.
Because the easy comparison was Ben Simmons to Stephen Curry. It's very easy. We could go statistically all the way down the line. Athleticism, anything you want to use, we could use it. And it's all going to favor Ben Simmons. But we all know who the better player is by a long mile.
Right.
That's why that argument is flawed. And I'll eat that to shit if you ever try to feed it to me.
Right. Absolutely. No doubt. So, man.
So
the Warriors, the Warriors getting started. Absolutely. I'm definitely feeling
the tip-off? It's tipping off?
Yeah. It's just tipping
off. Is it on TV or?
Yeah, so it's on TNT right now. Just started.
That's what's up. We're going to go catch that game. We're going to go catch that game.
Yeah,
I appreciate all of y'all joining in. If you coming in from YouTube, y'all already know what it is. Please head over to YouTube. If you from Twitch, drop us a follow on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. Drop us a follow from YouTube onto Twitch. Come tune in with us, Tuesday night, Friday night, 8 p.m. OG, chill. Y'all already know what it is. Take us home.
Take it light, but take it.
We out.